So what's going on, YouTube? What's up? I got to ask about the better quarterbacker who was the NFL announcer on Monday Night Football, Ron Jaworski and Steve Young. Who do I like better as an announcer? They both had a distinctive flair for the way they viewed the game. It always comes down to voice and always comes down to, concepts. It comes down to who moved you more. Uh I think Ron Jaworski had a type of voice, and he broke down tape and film really well. I like the way he did that. I think he had looked at it from a more traditional standpoint. I think Steve Young was kind of feeling it throughout the way he would look at it. They both had an interesting trajectory of how they would talk about the game. It comes down to styling and what moves you, uh, overall view and what have you. But I thought they both were interesting football announcers. I think that they both had Jaworski gave you like a overall depth. He would get into the deep files and he would actually study. He did a really good job of studying how he looked at the game. I must if I remember correctly that when they called him Jaws, because I remember when he played for the Philadelphia Eagles and he led the Eagles to the Super Bowl, and I remember how he looked at the game. Young was more earthy because he was a running quarterback, he was mobile, and he had a different perspective by the time he came along, but also how he played in that 49ers organization, etc. So they both had an interesting glance of how when you listen to them talking about football. It's amazing when you hear quarterbacks' perspective because how they see the game and the visualize and how the takes are. But I think Ron Jaworski going into that book about how he just like broke down film. I just think he really get into a little bit tidbit more with it for me. And the thing about it is, if you ask me who now on the field, Steve Young had the better career, etc. But you ask me who off the field, it's close because I think that Young was very comparable with his analysis, and he has some good depths and some good takes. But Ron Jaworski really made it real personable. It's almost like if you remember the old Steve and Ed Sable when they did NFL films and the highlights and all that, Jaworski would have been great to been a third or fourth wheel. Because if he changed his name to Ron Sable, you'd have said, yeah, he fit in really good with his prognostication and the way he would analyze and put things in perspective. So I think that I definitely got a lot of all of what they did. I think they both done really, credible with what they were doing with it. But I think Ron Jaworski tended to kind of hit it home just a tad bit more for my styling. But again, there is no right or wrong with it because they both did their homework. Both had great coaches who all understood. They worked with coaches who understood the offenses. Jaworski with Dick Vermeil, and then you had Steve Young with Bill Walsh and George Seifert. So they had guys who were definitely comparable, who were on and generated enough with the offenses, and getting the Super Bowls and excessive story. Now, when we're looking at it from analytics and we're looking at it from how they forecast, I seen Jaworski do some X's and O's where he was forecasting how he saw different things unfold in an offense. Young was looking to be more in a motorized because again, the way they quarterback and they styling. So it comes down to what you prefer. But again, there's really no wrong or right situation, overall, because they were two different eras, but it was interesting how it was broken down because Jaworski did modernize himself to actually put himself in perspectives where he could really talk about and relate to it. So I enjoyed both. But I think if I had to give one of the edge as far as who I liked as an announcer, I got to give it to Jaworski. I thought that he was animated, he had a balance, and he had interesting takes and perspectives. And I definitely like how he looked at it and put it in perspective. So that's my thoughts and takes on it. But let me know where you come down. Please like, subscribe, work on thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share it if you like. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm on one time. Peace.